welcome to this online Fane event, and we're streaming it as well. So it's going to be great.
It's great, isn't it? It's like a new thing for us, but here we are in the Crazy Cock in London's Piccadilly. Now it sounds weird. It's like some Berlin bar in the bowels of this restaurant in Piccadilly. It's great.
I'm loving it, me, dude.
I am often want to come down to the Crazy Cock for the big night out.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, come here. It looks great. It's got some good turns on.
No, they do. It's good.
Yeah.
It's all good. I love stuff like this. It's great.
I do too.
It's my first thing. We're kind of streaming virgins.
Yeah, we've done the Instagram thing, haven't we? Where we just banter on, and that's been quite nice.
I think that's what we've got to do here, I think.
Yeah, it is. But, I think we have to thank everybody who's actually watching us and who's kind of bought a ticket for the event.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Because
it's nice because I think we're all kind of part of it together, a little bit more intimate and lovely.
I like that.
I do too.
I do
too. But this is what we're over ourselves this week. It's our new book, Veggie Feasts. And we've been on the One Show this morning, Loose Women. RTE, Chris Moyles, Chris Evans' Breakfast Show.
Island EM.
Islands in the Sea.
That is what we are, Dave.
Yeah. But it's been a good week, hasn't it? But now this is the best bit, really.
Yeah, this is a good bit. And look, this book is interesting for us in the sense that it's a distillation of about 4 years, isn't it? Conversation between the two families, because Dave and I have vegans and vegetarians in our family, and we found one summer, didn't we, that we hadn't eaten any meat at all, and then you've got that fantastic.
Well, this year I've grown over 100 varieties of fruit and veg, and are pretty well self-sufficient. But say it was about the same time as we did a veggie dieters book, which is one in that series we did, and it was really easy to do a diet book with veggie foods because you cut the animal fats out, you cut the calories down. But then we just thought, wouldn't it be great to do like a full-blown veggie feasts, a vegetarian book for people who like to eat meat but want to go veggie a few days a week.
Absolutely.
Or indeed just have proper meals, not side dishes.
And I think that's it, isn't it? Because what you have to understand about the book is that we haven't compromised on flavour or taste, have we?
No, really good.
It's that the main events, and it was an opportunity for us really to put the spotlight on vegetables and the great produce that we have, and then take all of that fantastic experience that we've had, because we've been 4 times around the world on a motorcycle, and enjoyed amazing vegetarian cuisine. Bring all of that experience and distill it into this book.
Yeah, it's just part of the bigger picture as well.
It is.
And people think, like we did meat feasts a few years ago, well, because we were cooking with a lot of meat. But times change, we get older. We did the diet books because we got massively fat. There's no two ways around it,
Yeah.
And this is just like, I hate to use that word journey, but we've kind of arrived here quite logically, really.
Well, and I think as well, that we'll have to take some responsibility. We come from a generation where we didn't have the mindset of entitlement to eat meat every day because it was few and far between, and it was expensive. And the thing is that it's also about our planet and looking after it a little bit. So and it's a lot gentler on our planet to head towards a plant-based diet. So which is collectively as families what we're tending to do. We're not completely vegetarian. That would be a lie.
I think you brought it home to us last year when we were doing Route 66 in America.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the meat we had there in America, quite frankly, was awful.
It was shocking.
So much meat products, the production. It ceased to be food, really. It was just stuff.
It was.
I mean, we were butchering chickens, and you get a nice free-range chicken, even just a nicely reared chicken in the UK, and it's kind of, you're chopping it up, and it's all really dry and everything. The American ones, even top end, were just full of jelly and weirdness, and really we ate a lot of rubbish. We both got quite sick. There's a couple of vegetarians on our crew, and for lunch times, the only place that they found you could get anything that was vegetarian was the Subway. So we all ended up having to go to the Subway for lunch. And to be fair, after 3 months on that, I mean, my colon was in a state, Simon.
Was it?
Oh, it was.
Well,
I didn't know
that's nice to know, dude.
No, I was craving for spinach. the time we got to California, you know, I was ready for a salad.
Well, I think that's the thing, though, isn't it? Because as you say, it ceased to become food stuff. It was just another thing to consume. And the mad thing about it is, meat comes from a living thing. It's an animal that needs respect and care, and that you don't just take the prime cuts off it. You use all of it as a mark of respect, and that was shocking in the States. I have to say, it was shocking.
Yeah. Do you think you'd ever be vegetarian full time?
I don't know. I think to be honest, mate, the older that I get, the less meat I eat.
Yeah, and I think for me, in the summer, when I live in France quite a lot of the time, and when my garden's producing, like I'll get my tomatoes and I'll grow all sorts of odd varieties of vegetables. I grow my own padron peppers and stuff.
Brilliant.
I go down with a bag to my garden and I go shopping in my own garden.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I grew up in a red brick 2 up 2 down in Cumbria with a backyard. But I come back with the veggies, and that's my focus of attention. I think that's been the seed shift, you know. And all of a sudden, I think, well, I don't need to go to the supermarket to buy some pork chops to go with this.
It's true.
This is I can do something. I think that's with the book, the ideas that are there, because we started off with 200 ideas for this book.
Yeah.
And that went down to about 70 keepers.
70 keepers and 30 to discuss.
Yeah. Then it went to the team to discuss. There's a lady called Catherine Phipps who's like. She's a real academic food expert.
And Ginny Johnson, our editor, who
amazing.
She's amazing.
But you see, when you do a cookbook, we kind of give hints about how you do it. The team that we've got now has been with us for 20 books.
Yeah,
and,
it's a long time.
But the thing is, we've all had lockdown, haven't we?
Yeah.
And at one time, he didn't want us to do a book this year. And the guy who does all our photography, Andrew Hayes Watkins, because obviously he was out of work. Book was going to go, and he said, well, our recipes, and we are proud of this, they're so good that anybody can cook them and they work. So he said, my wife's an artist, this is Suki. I know how to photograph the food.
Yep.
I'll get Suki to cook the food. I'll photograph it. And then, you know, it goes to the publishers, everybody sees the pictures.
Yep.
And that's how we put the book together in lockdown.
And it worked.
And I think it's one of the most beautiful books that we've published, because I think we've had time to really think about it, to really make it work.
And that was that was nice, and it was a different MO, wasn't it? It was a different way of working, which was lovely. But part of the reason that you're here today is because you've sent us in some questions, some written and some via a video.
Yeah. We might go off at tangents, though. That's us.
Well, I mean, it's inevitable, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's have a look at the first question. So the first question is from Alison and Sam from Kent.
Hi, Si.
Hi, Dave.
It's Alison and Sam from Kent.
So our question is, if we were going to ride pillion with you and you were going to take us on a road trip,
and you had to cook veggie for us all day,
taking into consideration all the local specialities,
what would you cook us for breakfast in Newcastle,
lunch in Kent,
and dinner in Moscow
with the little Moscow boys?
So we know those two.
You do.
It's great, because those of you who don't know, Si's got a band called Little Moscow, and damn fine band they are.
Thanks,
they
mate.
lift the roof. And the two lovely ladies who set the question, we've seen them at gigs, we chatted, had a beer, so it hasn't been set up this. So, right, a veggie breakfast in Newcastle. I go Southern Indian.
Yeah, dosa desai.
We make the ladies a dosa desai, which is like a... Basically, I'm not very good at making them, to be fair. You get ground rice and urad dal, and you ferment it. You make a pancake, and then you have it with rasam, a coconut chutney, and some with a potato curry.
Yeah.
And then have idlis with that.
Oh, yeah.
They're like Southern Indian steamed rice cakes.
And sambar.
And upma.
Yeah,
upma, which is like a noodly Indian dish.
So good.
And so that's... When we were in Southern India, we filmed. We rode across from Chennai all the way over to Cochin, right across India. I always remember the South Indian breakfast every morning. You know, you think curry for breakfast. By God, it was great.
So lunch. Where should we go for lunch?
So lunch we're in Kent, aka the Mediterranean. Let's go to southern Italy.
Yeah.
And we're going down to the Cucina Povera.
Yeah, nice.
You know, it's like there's a chili di rapa, which is like turnip tops, and I don't know what. Was it like the Cucina Povera? It was almost like culinary homeopathy. The less that was in the dish, the tastier it became.
But you need that southern Mediterranean Italian produce for that. It's like literally fresh out the ground.
2 bottles of really good red Puglia wine.
Yes.
Yes.
So
and all that chickpea pasta that they do, where you fry some pasta, so you've got crunchy pasta on top with these chickpeas. Recipes are available in our Mediterranean cookbook, I may add.
yes. And then we've got to feed the band in wherever we happen to be, and they'll eat out. You know what they're like.
No, well, I think for this one, we all go around to one of our houses, either Newcastle or Kent,
Yeah.
and we cook them something from this veggie book.
Yeah.
I'd do them.
What would you do?
Start off with the pickled onion pakoras.
Yes.
To start with.
Yeah.
You know, you have a good dip, and you serve that. It's in the book. It's a mad little recipe, and I blooming love it. It's not like a jar of pickled onions. You pickle your own onions in some sugar, some chili flakes, and some red wine vinegar, just for an hour or so. But you make like yogurt with mango pickle, and so it's sweet and savoury, and you sit there with cold beers. And then for mains.
Oh well.
Yeah.
The Indian shepherd's pie.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that started off with our recipe for masala mash, didn't it?
Yes, it is.
But then it's just such a nice thought-out filling.
Oh.
Funny, when we did the book, the first time all the team got together was when we shot the cover and we shot some of the pictures of us inside. So the galette that's on the cover, we ate that, but we also that day, we had the shepherd's pie, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's epic.
Oh yeah, it was epic.
And for pudding, it's got to be the banana tray bake for me. I'm lost on that at the minute.
Yeah, no, you're proper into that at the minute. Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't like fruit. I've always been bad with fruit.
Yeah, you
But
have.
bananas
Why are
aren't
you
fruit,
bad
are
with
they?
fruit?
The bananas aren't fruit, really.
Well, they are. Well, technically,
I
no.
know. But it's kind of like an upside-down banana cake crossed with a banana tartan. So you've got like caramelised bananas on the bottom of like a banana cake.
You only like bananas because they've got no bones.
And I like,
Yeah.
I know. Well, that's a day out, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
well, that's a day out. Is that all right, girls? I hope you're both well, and it's lovely to see you.
It is.
It really is.
It is.
And when we get back live and there's gigs happening again, and the pandemic has disappeared, which might be a while, it'd be lovely to see you.
Just a little tip off in our new series, which we can't talk too much about. We have been filming for 3 months. There's 8 1-hours going on your telly early next year.
Hopefully.
And in the last episode, Little Moscow are in it.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, Kev's got his leather waistcoat on and everything.
Oh, he looks butch. He put his shades on as well, the idiot.
He does. He lives the dream.
He does.
He does.
Anyway, should we have another one?
Yeah, go on then. It's Clammy. Or Clemmy.
Hi, Hairy Bikers. I'm so excited about the show. I hope you guys are too. So here's my question. I grew up in France, and I'd love to know what you guys think are the best and worst things about French cuisine. Thank you.
Now, there's a starter for 10. The best and worst things about French cuisine.
Well, I've lived in France for nearly 6 years now. And quite frankly, the best thing about French cuisine is the produce from the markets.
Yes.
Like, go to Rennes Market, biggest food market in Europe. It's unbelievably good.
Yeah.
You know, the lobsters, the farmers come in with the produce. And it's all there for you to cook.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. I mean, most of the fish that's coming from the waters off the northeast of England, I can buy it in the markets in France.
Sure.
And I love in France, the markets shut at lunchtime on a Saturday. And so do most of the shops, because then the weekend starts, produce is home, and everybody eats their way through till Monday, resting. It's gorgeous, you know.
Yeah.
I love that. There are some downsides.
What are they?
I think there's a lot of the middle range of French food. I don't know. I think one thing is it's not multicultural. You know, like here we can eat our way around the world in the UK.
In most provincial cities.
Yeah. And everywhere you can, really. Everywhere's got a curry house or a little Chinese place. In France, not so, and even then it's kind of slightly watered down. I find the French people don't do spice well at all.
Controversial.
When people come round our house and I cook a curry, it's spice, no. And it's like, oh, no, there's nothing. Anyway, and also I believe it's a statistic that on that very famous hamburger chain, per capita, the French now eat more than the British. And here where I live, that particular chain has opened this big establishment and it's mobbed.
God. What do you think then, Dave? What do you think? Because there is no doubt that culturally, the French know their food. Because and I don't know whether it's a generational thing or whatever, but they know what they're
Well, they
about
do
and they know
the
the
food,
produce.
and they have food education in schools.
So what's the disconnect, do you
I
think?
don't know. I think there is a disconnect. I think a lot of the produce in the supermarkets, I struggle with it. I have to look for it. Whereas here, I can go to the supermarket and get, if I pay for it, I can get a 30-day-old steak in a supermarket that's labelled as such. I don't know. It's funny.
Is
and
it
it's like-
convenience, do you
I think
think?
so, in a lot of ways. And a lot of the bakeries as well. You find the odd ones, the patisseries look fabulous. But even then, I know a lot of them are dependent on bought-in frozen croissants that are heated through every morning.
Right.
It's weirdness. You haven't got the multicultural side for a start. There's French. The top-end French food is off the scale.
Amazing,
It's
yeah.
amazing good.
Yeah.
And I think the French people really appreciate that.
Yes.
I think that's one of the best things. But they say, isn't it, there's 3 great cuisines in the world. It's Chinese, there's classic cuisines, Chinese, Turkish, and French.
Yeah.
And like the way our mums make gravy, it's classic French techniques. So I say the best of it is the produce and the high end and the home cooking. And the worst of it really is a lot of bit in the middle that we used to go and get the all-in-one menu with a little jug of wine. That seems few and far between now.
What a shame.
That in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm not going to the right places.
Well, for me, I think French cuisine is I always find, and I'm a born romantic anyway. I always find, as soon as I start to think about French cuisine, it's about produce and romance for me, and because I as you say, I mean, I don't live in France as you do, and I just I loved the breakfasts in the small cafes when I was traveling through France, so it would be regional. You'd go and you'd eat bread, and if the apples were in season, you'd have wonderful apple compote and coffee and fresh croissants, as you say. And but I haven't done that for such a long time now. I would hate to see that has kind of disappeared out of the culture of eating in France.
Maybe it's a bit like where I live. I've gone from being a tourist
To live-
feeling
yes.
that I'm part of the community.
Sure.
And the reality is, I suppose, if you're a tourist coming to England and you go for your ploughman's lunch somewhere, you'll pick somewhere where you get perfect pork pie with your pickles and everything.
Yeah.
But there again, if you go to a cafe down a high street somewhere, and you have got a lump of cheddar and a bit of old pie, maybe there's like a reality, and maybe I don't know. Maybe it's once the romance wears off a bit, the reality kicks in. But there again, the more you get into it, like there's a bakery. I love the croissants there, and they've won awards for it, and they do them properly. Yeah. But I'll drive to get those, and what a treat that is, really.
Sure.
But
funny,
Red
isn't it?
Market, you see, that's
on another scale.
it is on another scale. It's stunning.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So it's got the best and the worst, I think. Really.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it, isn't it? That's the very nature of any cuisine, isn't it? The best and the worst.
Yeah.
Unlike, but then you think of Italy and...
But Italy's very parochial as well.
Oh, it's hugely parochial. Hugely parochial. They're not. You see, when you talk about Italian cuisine, it doesn't really matter. Or French cuisine it's so regional.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You can't it's not a broad brush stroke, is it?
Yeah. No, I mean, I live kind of Normandy, Brittany, Loire, and it's very much cheese, foie gras, and brioche. It's kind of quite hearty, but then they say the seafood from that coming in from the ports. And the oysters.
Well, I hope, Clemmy, that's that. Yeah, good question, that, mate.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was nice, that. I like that. It was good. Yeah. What about Eve? Eve waking up.
Hello, bonny lads. Now then, what do I do with this? My homegrown. Now, there are lots and lots of boring recipes for pumpkins out there. I don't mind if it's sweet or savoury, but something nice before I carve it up. Thank you, boys. Cheers.
Eve, It's a year-old problem, isn't it, when the
Oh,
pumpkins
the
come
pumpkin,
out? I bought
yeah.
a pumpkin to put a candle in and make a face, but
But have you seen though, when
I'm
they're
not going
selling
to.
those pumpkins, they're not eating pumpkins and they're sold as carving pumpkins.
Are they?
Yeah. A lot of the ones you buy from the garage, and they'll say carving pumpkin.
Well, I never, to be honest, I don't know about you when you grew up, but I never had a pumpkin. I had turnips.
Turnip, yeah,
Like
no.
a big, we always
and it's
used
great
to wrap
when
around
the
it.
candle kicks off as well. It stinks of burnt turnip, the house. I love that, it's so evocative.
Well, yeah.
But I sense Eve's grown her own pumpkin.
So it's our own produce, so she's emotionally invested in it.
Yeah.
We need a good recipe for pumpkin.
I just love the classic, really. The like pumpkin or squash, the raviolis.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
I'd process the lot and make me ravioli filling. And you don't need much, you freeze it. And then it's just raviolis made with a pumpkin mixture in the middle.
Oh, you see,
and
yeah.
it's served with sage butter with some crispy sage leaves on top. I love that. Caluccio's used to do a great one of those, actually.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So mine would be for you, Eve. What I love about, and as Dave says, you can use it with any squash, this recipe with any squash really, or pumpkin. I like, so you take a pumpkin, you cut it into about 2 centimetre pieces, so that of even size. You put them in a big bowl, you put some olive oil, you put some salt, you put some black pepper, you put some chili powder, you put some fresh chili, you put some lime juice, and you put, and I mean the smallest bit of maple syrup on it, okay? Just half a teaspoon. And you toss it together. And then, just before it goes into the oven, and let that sit for about 10 minutes, just before it goes into the oven, you put a little bit of apple cider vinegar, if you've got it. Literally, it's about 2 teaspoons. Toss it together again, let it sit, whack it in the oven for about 45 minutes at 180 degrees, take it out and eat it. It's flippin' gorgeous.
Oh, gosh. It's funny that somebody said to us the other day, you know, have you got a good pumpkin pie recipe? And with that many recipes, I couldn't remember whether we hadn't.
No.
But we haven't.
We'll have to do one, won't
I
we?
think we'll have to do one, yeah. Since it's about maple syrup, because I noticed in the Veggie Feast book, we do use maple syrup as a dressing quite a lot, actually.
Yeah.
It's very useful. Remember, this isn't a diet book.
No.
So we're not shy on the syrup, but good maple syrup. And it really adds you don't know if it's like a salt caramel
Exactly
flavour.
that. Exactly that.
And pumpkin soup is favourite. You
Oh,
know, with,
nice. This is a nice soup
pumpkin,
recipes.
apple, bit of curry powder in there.
And the other thing you can do with pumpkin is exactly the same process, but you just add you add cumin and take the chili away, but you add cumin, pomegranate molasses instead of and you just toss that together again with lime juice. And it's brilliant. It's simple on big heads of garlic as well. And you put that through, and I love eating that as well. It's nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of value in a pumpkin, isn't there?
There is, well, there's a lot of it, isn't there?
I've got a load come up in my garden as well. They're like alien ant eggs. They're just kind of like, but they kind of creep along, and then they'll be in the next bed, and all of a sudden, hello, I'm here. It's like,
they go quickly, don't
Oh,
they?
yes,
they just arrive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I quite like my turban squashes as well. I've grown those this year.
Oh yeah, no, I love
They're
those.
nice, aren't
Oh,
they?
they're great.
Yeah.
Right. I hope that's answered your question, Eve. So the next one in is Laura from East London.
Hi Hairy Bikers,
Hi, Laura.
please could you tell me the best way to cook tofu? I never seem to get the same consistency as they do in restaurants. Thank you.
Aha. I know what Laura's not doing.
Yes, so do I. Go on.
You need to press it, Laura. Right? When you get it, it's quite wet. I mean, you buy firm tofu anyway, but you need to make it firmer. So if you kind of put it on in some kitchen roll and just put a light weight on the top and just leave it for a bit in a colander, and it'll just squeeze out the excess water. And then when you cut it and cook it, you'll get the texture that you want in a restaurant.
And that's what we're talking about, pressing it. You need to press it. But as Dave says, gently.
Smoked tofu's great because there's something about when they smoke. I always say smoked tofu is vegetarian, smoky bacon, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I think we've got a BLT there with like smoked tofu.
And there's some good smoked tofu products.
There is.
And actually the process, Laura, of smoking actually draws some of the water out. The other thing you can do to make it quicker is salt it and press it. So, and the salt draws a little bit more moisture out. So If you, as Dave says, if you wanted kind of like a medium consistency, press it. If you want it slightly tighter, then salt it and press it as well.
And we do a little trick as well, more with paneer, where you can do, works with tofu. If you want a little crisp on the outside, say it's an Indian thing, mix some spice with some semolina and roll it in that. And then when you fry it, you get like a crispy, crunchy coating on it.
Lovely.
I mean, like a bit of garam masala, a bit of semolina, and roll it. I mean, we always our crunchy plaque paneer, the spinach and paneer curry, but we make it crunchy. So when you've done the spinach curry, get the paneer, roll it in garam masala and semolina, and fry it. So it's got a crunchy outside. You can do that with tofu. Do you remember in Japan?
Yeah.
When we were in Kyoto.
Yes.
Because the food speciality of Kyoto is tofu. Markets have tofu. And we were in this monastery and we made tofu one morning. 5 o'clock in the morning, they got us up with the monks before
Buddhist
breakfast to making this sesame tofu.
It was nice, like.
It was really nice. It was really nice.
But, you know, having said that, like, it was still 5 o'clock in the morning.
It was funny because we got to the monastery. This was the director. He was an odd bod at the time. He was all for like springing surprises on us.
Yeah, which
it?
we don't like.
Ed St. Giles. No, and so we got to the monastery. We just thought, yeah, we're going for a look. Then we'll go back to the fancy hotel.
Yeah.
You know, but why are we going now? Oh, no, it's fine, lads. We walked there. There were 2 novice monks there. And it was about 6 o'clock at night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they pointed at 2 futons and the novices were there nodding. And that was our bed for the night. And then Ed was saying, yeah, they've got an all-night chant, but you're here for the night. And we'll see you in the morning. We thought, what? Anyway, so the crew left and we're there with these 2 novice monks and we're going, we'll be all right, thank you. You go and have your chant. And, well, actually, there wasn't a mattress. It was just a bamboo mat. 'Cause do you remember you nicked a pillow?
I nicked the cushion of the head monk, but I didn't know that the cushion belonged to said head monk's bottom, did I?
No.
And I used it as a pillow. So when they came back in the morning, it looked like I just shot the dog.
Yeah, they hated us.
I didn't know.
It got worse anyway. So we got rid of the 2 novice monks who were like our minders. And we were there for about an hour and a half and we couldn't get comfy. I think we tried, all we had was our phones, so put some music on. We had no luggage. No, we were in robes by that point, weren't we?
Yeah, we were. We had the whole kit and
We had the whole
caboodle.
kit and caboodle because he took our clothes off us.
I was dying for a
But
shower.
do you know what we did? We legged it over the wall.
Yeah.
And we found this bar. The food was great. So then we were all monked up. And we had about
Monked up.
5 pints.
Yeah, no, getting back was easier.
And we crept back in the monastery the next morning. And it was one of those like live moments where the crew come in and there's a light in your face and they wanted to see our reaction as we wake up in the monastery. Yeah,
great.
Feeling beatific and everything with all the sanctity. We woke up with the worst hangovers. It was like, get out of my face.
Yeah, we weren't happy.
No, then we had to go and make tofu. I remember that. It was so funny, legging it. We thought it was so naughty. Legging it over the monastery walls.
Anyway, so that's us.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's us and tofu.
Yeah. Also, as well, if you press the tofu and soak it in some soy and some 5-spice powder,
Yeah.
and leave it for about 10-15 minutes, and then literally dry fry it. But you have to dry fry it quite carefully, and that's lovely because the edges go crispy and
It takes flavour as well. So
It does, very
And
much.
steam's quite nice. You've got some greens. Marinate the tofu first and just steam a block
Beautiful,
of it.
yeah.
And just cut it into cubes. It's really delicate on your greens.
Nice.
I like tofu.
I do.
Yeah,
I
it's
do.
good.
It's good. It's good stuff.
God, we are getting vegetarian, honestly.
Crumbs.
Yeah.
This is Donna from Birmingham. I've got a mix of meat eaters and veggies in my friendship group. What recipe would you recommend for a dinner party that can be easily amended to suit both?
Donna from I don't think you need to amend any of the recipes, you see.
No.
It'd be easy if you want to put like a bit of chicken with any one of these, in terms of amended. But I think the thing is, we've tried to make the meals a whole entity on their own. Say the Indian shepherd's pie, once for nothing. The vegetarian Wellington, it's so well thought out with the accompanying vegetarian gravy.
That's so that's so true. I think, Donna, the thing is that what you have to do is set the tone. So I don't think you need to. I mean, look, you can always stick a sausage in in a casserole. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
one
mean
of
the chili
veggie
bean bake, for instance.
Yeah, there you go.
The chili
yeah.
bean bake's great. If you want, just do a couple of bangers with that.
Or,
and you
or,
got-
or
it's
some
fine.
chicken thighs or whatever. I mean, look, it's
Yeah, but
it's
sausages would be great with that. Actually,
yeah, it would sausages would be
about it.
good.
And you've got I think you've got your pumpkin there, Eve, as well. 200 grams of pumpkin. So the chili bean bake, Eve. But anything like that. The mushroom bourguignon cobbler.
Yeah.
That really stands up on its own, but maybe with some.
Well, you could stir some
Whatever, really.
cubed steak through it, or whatever. But try and set the tone of your dinner parties. Just don't make any excuses about, well, you eat meat and you don't.
Don't tell them.
Don't tell
them you're doing vegetarian. I've got one of my favourite tea shops. It's Gillam's in Ulverston. It's been there for donkey's years.
Yeah.
And great people. It's such a wonderful tea shop. It is vegetarian.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say that to anybody.
There's no need.
There's no ham sandwiches, but there's everything else. And, I can't get beyond their mushrooms and toast. It's so good.
Yeah.
But they don't say the vegetarian. And I think 60% of the people don't realise, that they've been and gone, very happy. But like in Italy, you go somewhere back to the cucina povera. Yeah, I don't know. It's not.
It's not an apology.
Nah.
A vegetarian cuisine, and neither is vegan cuisine. It's not. Yeah, I understand that for your party, for your dinner parties, you want to. It needs to be quick, and you seem, Donna, quite busy. So, because you want to amend stuff, so But just set the tone.
Yeah, I mean the couscous stuffed peppers. The vegetarian, I would do that with a couple of our salads.
Yeah, nice.
But then, if you did have somebody who's an adamant meat eater, some little lamb kebabs on the side with a bit of tahini sauce would be beautiful.
Yeah.
I think with one thing with our food, we've always been democratic. We've never been dogmatic.
No, look, that's the great thing about food. You don't, as long as it's prepared correctly, and it's prepared with a little bit of love and a little bit of care and attention to detail, then anything that you cook is going to be loved because it's at your table.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got a question for Fred from Durham. He had to be called Fred from Durham, didn't he?
He did,
yeah. If you could choose only one meal to eat for the rest of your life, what would you choose?
Seafood, shellfish, fish, vegetables.
Shellfish.
Shellfish.
You'd be a shellfish eater.
I would. But then you see, it's a really difficult question, that, because I know that I'd miss me veggies. Do you know what I mean? Because I love them. I genuinely
do. You know what we
do.
could do to cheat on this?
What?
We could say pasta.
Right.
Because actually, I can, like during lockdown,
Yeah.
I mean, I started making my own pasta because I had time, and I got involved in flavouring the pasta.
Yeah.
And I got to understand why some Italians say they have to eat pasta every day.
Yeah.
I kind of got addicted to it, and I was eating pasta like an Italian, like a small bowl.
Yeah.
It wasn't kind of like, put a big package in and we'll get through that and have seconds, thirds and fourths and a bit left over for the dog. Because again, I invested, I made it, I was making a small quantity. We see with pasta as the meal to last forever, because within that, I could vary the sauce.
Oh, I see. Pasta, Fred.
Pasta in all its glorious forms, from ravioli. Gnocchi could come into that as well.
What about rice?
Nah, pasta's infinitely more variable. I could do without rice.
Yeah.
Yeah, pasta.
Pasta. Yeah.
Including gnocchi. Because I think that comes generically underneath.
Well, yeah, it would.
Yeah, it does, doesn't
yeah,
it?
Yeah.
You should try the gnocchi dish in this recipe.
Oh.
It's the one, but it's an old Italian trick. But it's like flour, the semolina, gnocchi, but half of it volume's made up with chickpeas. And when you cook the gnocchi, they're kind of soft, but they're sweet and a little bit nutty. And we pair that actually with a blue cheese sauce. We don't depend on cheese much in the book.
No, we don't.
But that blue cheese sauce and crushed walnuts on the top. Oh, it's brilliant.
And that's what you'll find in the book, actually, that now we're on the subject, is that we haven't decided that, just to make something tasty to cover everything with cheese, or use kind of meat alternatives. because what we want to do is what Dave and I naturally gravitate towards is cooking fresh, and spicing and taste profiles. So you'll find that in the book that there are some cheese dishes, of course there are when appropriate, but it isn't just
There's
a
lots
case.
of decent vegan cheese as well now.
Yeah,
as well.
there is. Yeah, but it isn't just a case of putting cheese over anything.
Yeah, do you remember, King, in America, a couple of times, Kubo said, what doesn't taste better? I said, there's not much that doesn't taste better if it's got cheese or bacon in it. It seemed to me, didn't it? Bacon bits.
Bacon bits and
Do you want
cheese.
bacon bits on your tater tots?
No, I don't. I mean, no, I don't. Thank you.
What's a tater? Remember that?
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't even know.
What's a tater tot?
I didn't know.
And she went, guys, you don't know what a tater tot is.
And
Calling the waits, these guys don't know what a tater tot is.
Have you just come out from a rock? No, I just
don't know
asking,
what's a chuffing tater tot.
What sort of weird processed food do you people eat?
And for those of you who are similarly disadvantaged as us, a tater tot is a very processed piece of potato.
Yeah.
That's done. It's like a nugget of hash brown.
Yeah.
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 I like hash browns. I'm not too keen on tater tots.
Like homemade hash browns, like
They're the
rusty.
besties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So, Serena from Kent. Hello.
Hi Hairy Bikers, I'd like to know if you could only eat one type of cuisine for the rest of your life, what would you choose and why?
One type of cuisine for the rest of my
your
life. Well, I have to say, as I get older, and I never used to be this, it's Italian. I love Italian food. But if you expand that to Mediterranean food, now we're talking. But I think Italian food, I think it's just so kind of tasty, generous, it's fresh. My body seems to run well on it. The baking side of it, it's clever and it's diverse. About you, Kingy?
It's quite a hard question, that, isn't it? Probably Indian cuisine, because it's just as varied, just as diverse.
Yeah.
And the bacon side of things is slightly different, but fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but then again, I think I'll stay
I know what you
with
mean,
that.
but on a consensus as well, it's the Indian cuisine. We're not necessarily talking UK curry house cuisine.
No,
No, but
because there's well, it's as regional as it is.
Yeah.
It is as varied, and
Do you know when we
loved
were
it.
talking
I loved
before
that.
about the South Indian breakfast?
Yeah.
I suddenly in my mind then think, I'm going to go for that next week. So we've got some time off at home, haven't
Yeah,
we?
yeah.
I'm going to try and get my dosas going again.
But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the dosa kitchen because I've not seen them for ages, and they do a lunch on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And it is epic because it's properly authentic.
Yeah.
They make no apologies for the levels of spice or flavour. It's just, you'd absolutely...
Yeah,
I must
no, I
take
love
you
it.
when you're
I love
back
it.
up in
I
Newcastle.
think what I do as well is I've done this quite a bit. Because, if you make a thali, a thali is the South Indian dish of, well, we had one that's 21 different pots. That was a thing. But maybe about 7 or 8 different kind of curries, gravies, breads. And you kind of have them. What I do is I'll make them kind of in bulk. So I'll have a day making the curries.
Yes.
And Lil loves it. And the curries are in the fridge.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to supper, I'll make it last over 2 or 3 days, vary it a bit with some like fresh yogurts and stuff. But to maybe have a thali on the go for 3 days. And it's such a nice thing to do. It's a bit like sometimes with a meze as well.
Yeah.
And I've another couple of dishes added to it and change it till I get fed up of it really. But I can feel a bit of South Indian thali coming on next week.
Nice, yeah, nice.
But Italian for me, I think, if that's my one cuisine.
Yeah, Italian, yeah, fair dues.
Yeah, I think Italian, well, we did a series of Mediterranean, but I have to admit, I would pick the Italian Mediterranean, I think, over than the French Mediterranean. And I am a Francophile.
Yes, you are, very much
so. But I say that in a measured way.
Okay, so Sally from Yorkshire, there's several questions here. Full English or continental breakfast?
In England, full English. And I'm in France, continental.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I really do love in for me breakfast, even in the UK. I love fruit. I love me fruit. makes you feel great in the morning. I know you hate
Like
fruit.
bananas.
No, not just bananas, do.
No, I do actually. It's funny. People laugh at us, and yeah, we talk about full English breakfast, but we have been filming for the past 3 months, and we managed to make 8 1-hours BBC television with neither us getting sick or the crew getting sick or any of the contributors getting sick, and we're dead proud of that. I mean, it's some good telly, I think, but we've been bubbling together, we've been living together, and it was funny. Our breakfast of choice. You can see this with us. It's truth time. We liked sugar-free muesli. This is on my side. It was generally said sugar-free muesli, plant-based milk, and I had blueberries and bananas. And it was great. It was when we'd stayed in the hotel, I did go back to be full English, but through choice, that's what I had every morning.
Yeah, it did. And I normally I'd normally have a coconut yogurt with some fruit, some sugar-free muesli, and that was great, and maybe a few seeds on the top, chai and linseed and all that sort of stuff. I love it. It's nice because it makes you
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you have a full English, and especially some of the hotels that the BBC put you in,
yeah.
you get your sausage and you think,
You just want to wash
This is liquid pig.
Yeah, you just want to wash your soul after it because you feel dirty.
Dirty.
Anyway, sweet or savoury?
Oh, savoury all the way for me.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, savoury. Yeah, I was always a crisp kid, not a sweet kid.
Yeah.
That's why I was fat.
Yeah. Quavers or quinoa?
Right, now, we should see quinoa really is we've just probably written the best vegetarian book that's been written for many years. So yeah, quinoa, quavers. Yeah, I'm a dirty quaver man.
I was just about to say bollocks, it's quavers.
Yeah.
I mean, I like quinoa, but,
When we were filming this time, there's always what you call a snack box in the back of one of the vans.
Yeah.
And we don't get access to the snack box, really, because we're on the motorbike. And then when they stop, if you want to take your gloves and your helmet off, you can't be bothered, really. But the crew snack of choice was, in fact, quavers. There was always industrial quantities of quavers, weren't there, Kingy?
There were, and very pleasant they were too.
Yes.
Wotsits as well, there was those. Other
No, you see, I've
cheesy
never been a
puffs.
Wotsits fan. Because I used to like Marks and Spencer. Well, you see, it's the only posh thing we had when I was a kid. Marks and Spencer's cheesy footballs.
Yes.
You see, they're even more orangey than a Wotsit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Wotsits are the new pretenders. M&S cheesy footballs. Emma from Leeds. How do I persuade my partner, he's very stubborn, that a proper meal doesn't have to include meat? Emma from Leeds.
You know what to do, Emma? Take a psychological approach. Just say to him, darling, have you ever travelled? Have you broadened your horizon? If the only place he's been is Scarborough, you're onto a loser.
Or Bridlington even.
Or Bridlington.
From Leeds, good day out.
Yeah, good day out, yeah. So what you need to do is just kind of, don't tell him.
No.
Because just don't tell him. Or hit him with something.
Yeah. Or just do our Indian shepherd's pie. Be halfway through it when they realise it's not mince. It's not meat substitute. It's just good shit, really.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. It's good. Yeah, I don't think. See, that's what I just think it's. Isn't it funny with the meat thing? It's like a slightly macho thing, and people think that we love a good steak.
Yeah.
Now and again, but on a day-to-day, I also love this.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? And it goes back to the meat and two veg kind of psyche.
We had to change that with the diet, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Somebody said to us, a dietitian, right, it's the problem with you two lads, and we've still kept like 3 stone off each, that we've got the northern plate. So it's a masses of carbohydrates, then your protein, then a bit of veg. And what she said was, like, diet-wise, turn that plate around. So it's masses of veg, then your protein, and then your carbs. We've kind of stuck with that.
Yeah, we have.
I'll do that. If I have my rice on my dish, I will do it. It's a bit nonsense, but I'll do the ramekin of rice turned upside down. But that way, it's kind of, that's my portion of rice. Rather than, I don't know, we used to have this big bowl of rice in the middle of the table. Yeah. Or big bowl of mash.
It was mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely a psyche change that needs to happen, Emma, with your partner.
Talking of big bowls of mash, do you remember the first newspaper headline we had?
Yes.
Yeah, it was TV chef fantasises over naked Delia. So what had happened was, I had this dream, And I just told King, I didn't think we're filming, that Delia Smith had come to me naked in the night with a big bowl of a garlic mash. And I verbalised this, and he went on national telly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Delia sent me a picture, not naked with garlic mash, but she thought it was great, didn't she?
She did.
We got drunk with Delia one night.
Yeah, she was great.
She's
at Norwich,
brilliant.
Norwich
Love
City
her.
Football Club.
Yeah, you never get a duff Delia.
Never ever get a duff Delia.
If you're not buying our book, buy Delia's.
Yeah, Shen from Essendon.
Hello, my question to the Hairy Bikers is, how can I make proper Yorkshire puddings that rise? Thank you.
Shen.
Where you fellas?
Right. I'm just going to set this up because
you.
this is a big thing. Dave has a recipe from his mum and for Yorkshire puddings, and it never ever fails. Listen carefully to each individual step and detail that my friend, who is the Don of the Yorkshire pudding, even though he comes from Lancashire or Cumbria, is about to say. So, Shen, hang on every word. Mr. Myers.
Thank you. After that build-up, it better work. First off, I still have one of the few things my poor mother left me was her Yorkshire pudding dish. It's enamelled and it's slightly rounded like that at the sides. And it's got a history because she used to sit under the stairs during the war when the doodle bugs were coming in with her on her head. So
nice.
it's got a history, this dish.
Oh, yeah?
It's yellow enamelled. So actually, it's rounded at the edges. It's not necessary, but it does enable that rise to happen. And when I was a little boy, she said, this is how you make Yorkshire puddings. I had this proper tablespoon. Now, a lot of people these days, they'll call what I call a dessert spoon a tablespoon. It's not.
It's not.
The tablespoon is twice as big. So a proper tablespoon. She said, son, dig that into a pack of flour. When it says a heaped teaspoon, get as much flour on that spoon as you can. Put it in a bowl 4 times. So you don't have to measure it. A teaspoon of salt, mix that in. 2 eggs. Put it in, and it doesn't matter. It'll be all lumpy and horrible. It'll be like the elephant man's face. It doesn't matter at this point. Then just put as much whole milk in until it goes the texture of runny cream. It's that simple. Beat it up, still be lumpy. Now you must leave that for an hour or so.
In the fridge or?
On a hot day, I put it in the fridge. On a non-hot day, I just leave it out on the top.
Fine.
Because it's the flour to expand. Then whisk it up and really make it smooth. Meanwhile, in this tin, old enamel works really well for this. An old enamel tin, because it's thin, you want it really hot. About 200, 220 degrees Celsius oven. You put your tin in for about 10 minutes first with your oil of choice. Goose fat's great, but honestly, sunflower oil works fine, high temperature oil. But what you want is, you act quick. You've got your batter that's smooth. You get your tin out of the oven and pour that batter straight in. And it sizzles like a frying pancake and get it in the oven, that hot oven. And honestly, in about 15, depends on if you're making a big Yorkshire pudding, obviously it takes longer, and it will rise like phoenix from the ashes, like Vesuvius. You will have a perfect Yorkshire pudding with no scales involved, really.
Shen, pay homage to the master of said Yorkshire pudding. It never fails.
It's a good recipe for toad in the hole as well. Good Cumberland sausage, or our vegan sausage that's in the book. But a good Cumberland sausage. And what's used to as well is on occasion, we put some mushrooms in that mix as well, a mushroom Yorkshire pudding. But we've got recipes for sage and onion Yorkshire puddings.
Now, I did those the other day to your mum's recipe, and they were epic.
Yeah, sage and onion Yorkshire puddings. Put some dried sage in the pudding mixture. But meanwhile, caramelise some onions separately. Now, if you make individual ones, put a blob of caramelised onion in each of the little pots, pour your sage Yorkshire mixture on, let it go. Sage and Yorkshire puddings with pork or chicken. Fabulous.
So, next one, Chloe from Oxford. How can we go on holiday from our kitchens via the food we cook? What's the best trip you've done? How can we go on holiday from our kitchens via the food? Oh, I see.
Like so, lockdown.
How can we escape the lockdown and go on holiday?
It's a gastronomic holiday.
Or taste buds. Well, in the same place, but it's taste buds. Right.
What's the best trip you've ever done?
Look, Chloe, we
Every-
always
every
get
day's
asked that.
holiday with us, isn't it?
Aye, of course.
Yeah.
Chloe, we always get asked that, and it's a really difficult question to answer because we've been 4 times around the world on
No, I think she
motorcycles.
means like cooking a meal from your kitchen. It's an emotional holiday, isn't it?
What's the best trip you've ever... Well, look, I've got to tell you, for me, it's really simple. It's a curry. Every time I cook a curry, I'm off. You know, I mean, you know.
Yeah, with me it's back to Italian really. I'll hand make my pasta.
Yeah.
I put music on as well when I'm cooking. So if it's Italian, I've got Pavarotti on.
Oh, you see, I'm the opposite. I've got I've got sitar players and I love
Yeah,
it.
but no, if it's a cold winter's day and I want the Italian thing going, and I'll have a nice starter like a Ligurian seafood salad, you know, warm salad with mussels and prawns and bits and pieces. Nice. Just warm over lettuce so it's yielding with some nice focaccia.
Yielding.
So it's like a holiday, you know. It's beautiful.
I get you. I get you.
Yeah, and then a bit of an affogato afterwards. That you know, I'm on holiday then. I'm in southern Italy. But then, like you say, India. It's great to get the spice going. But music's important in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, that's
ambience.
always a good. And try and get the drinks that you've had while you're on your hulls as well. That's always a nice thing.
Yeah, those crap bottles at the back of the sideboard you think you'd never drink.
Yeah, that never taste the same when you bring it home.
Ouzo does not the taste the
It
same.
doesn't, does it?
No. But music, I tell you, when I'm cooking a curry, there's an amazing album, and it's called Snoop. It's like a Bollywood album, and it's Snoop Dogg meets the Punjabi sisters. It's really funny. You can imagine Snoop Dogg and Bollywood. It's brilliant. And I'm off. I get joss sticks going as well. I really do it for an Indian. That's next week, Mitali. Bit of Snoop Dogg, joss sticks on, incense.
I'm going to send you some really, really lovely Indian music that you love. It's kind of like classical Indian music, but with a modern twist.
That'd be wonderful. No, I'd appreciate that.
I know I will. Honestly,
I know.
dude, because it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's from the Kashmir as well.
Yeah, but you see, that's it. You see, you've got the music while you cook. I haven't quite cracked it for Chinese food, though. But what I do, though, is can do, you know, like all these music things, like iPlayer, you know, the iTunes and stuff, you can just put in, like, Chinese restaurant music or Thai restaurant music, and the playlists come up.
Do they?
Yeah, I just go for the ambience, the full whack.
Right.
Yep. That's how I go on holiday.
Oh, that helps.
Not this one again.
No,
What's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten in your travels? Have you ever refused to eat anything? Matthew from Ipswich. Right, they chorus. The weirdest thing we've ever eaten, Simon, has to be
a goat's penis hot pot. Yeah, it wasn't
Vietnam.
great. Yeah, and it was on special, and you got the testicles for free.
Oh no! We swore blindly. We didn't want to do the I'm a celebrity thing and eat a kangaroo's backside.
No,
there's enough idiots doing that on the telly. We did not want to be them.
We did not.
We
David.
didn't. And we got into this restaurant, and we meant to be eating kind of survivalist food from the days of the
Well, it was the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
So basically,
there was a guy at the next table though eating like fillet steak dipped in black bean sauce. It looked delicious. Meanwhile, course number one was?
Well, it was a witchery. It was coconut grub that you had to dip in soy sauce
to make them wriggle. It's that bad.
And I mean, these are big. And have you ever tried to hold a coconut grub? Anyway, they were massive, and
we refused to eat that.
I couldn't eat it.
Course number two was crispy fried scorpions. I couldn't eat it.
I did. And it was exactly as you could imagine.
You ate the sting as well?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. But then the waiter came up with a menu, and we saw on the menu was deer penis. And we just thought it'd be really funny to say to the waiter, "How is your deer penis?"
Yes, you see.
And he said,
"Well, it's off." I'm sorry, the deer penis is off, but we've got
goats.
But we've got a goat's penis. We've got a goat's penis on, and we said,
we'll have two of them.
We'll have two of them. He said, "Oh no, you don't want two." He said, "No, it's a goat's penis hot pot, and it's good enough for two. It's big enough for two." So we went, and he said, "And it's on special because you get the testicles for free."
And it came. It was this complete block and tackle in a really frugal broth. There it was on the table. There was no attempt at dressing this up as being like a risotto or anything like
No,
that.
no.
It was a full set of genitalia.
Yes, it was from a goat.
Goat.
So
And it smelt like a goat's willy.
yeah, if you've ever smelt one.
Well, we know, but you can imagine.
you can
People
imagine.
ask a stupid
goat
question.
cheese. You know, if you smell it, it's like dirty goat's cheese.
Yeah, but
That's what it smelled like. But it was the thingy.
but not that type
yeah.
of goat cheese. Anyway,
So anyway, so what happened was we looked there, and Dave and I looked at each other, and we decided to spin the plate to see who started at the pointy end.
I could just about manage a mouthful of testicle.
Yeah, that was it. And I had the pointy end.
But it shows how television's changed over the years. You know, because this was pre-Watershed, and I looked at Kingy, and I think this point we're about to say, right, we were quite new, and we didn't want to like kick up against the director and the producer, but this was crunch point. I said to King, I can honestly say, Si, it's the first and last penis I've ever had in my mouth.
Yes.
And that went out pre-Watershed on BBC Two.
It did.
So this is why I feel we can talk about this now openly.
Yes, Dave.
But that's been it. The weirdest thing.
So we're now, Dave, on to our last question.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
And it says, and the last question is, where did the name Hairy Bikers come from? And have you ever been... Good grief, Kim. Kim from Jersey, have you ever been tempted to go clean shaven? I've looked like this since I was 3.
I did shave my beard off once when I broke my arms.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
Because I've been in hospital, I come off my bike, broke my arms, and I just thought, I've been clean shaven for 20 years.
Well, yeah.
Oh, I didn't look right. It was just like...
No, you didn't look right.
No.
No. I mean, I understood why you did it, because you wanted to be clean.
Yeah, well, I didn't last long, did it?
No, it didn't.
No. Hairy Bikers, the name's interesting because people lay claim to it. The truth is, emails had just started.
Yeah.
Because we started sort of doing this project in 2000, and emails are quite new then. It seems to have been the way of life forever.
Yeah, it's something that you don't think about anymore. No?
Somebody in the office wrote the subject on an email, subject Hairy Bikers.
Yeah.
And it kind of stuck.
And that was it.
That was it.
That was how it come. I mean, we were hairy and we did have bikes.
Well, that area at the time still,
Day
you were still
jobs, yeah,
location manager.
I was
so you were still trying to con Northumberland gentry out of their stately homes for very. So you had to turn up and smooth them. So actually, no, you were very short hair.
Yeah, I did.
No, I did too. Because I was.
Yeah, that's funny.
I was still working. Yeah. It was funny. We're quite. But then, as soon as we got the commission, we just let ourselves go. Really. Somebody said the other day. They said that we're like Hampton Deck that be sleeping rough behind a library for 20 years.
Yeah.
During lockdown, though, I did shave most of my beard off. Yeah. I was watching this film. It was a series. There was like the 70s porn star in it. And I'd had a few drinks, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I went upstairs, you know those dagger sideboards and that?
Yeah,
and,
the
Hulk Hogan moustache?
Yeah.
So I come bouncing downstairs after like half an hour with the razor, with the Hulk Hogan moustache and porn star. I said, I went to Lil.
That's his wife.
Yeah. And she just went, oh, you twerp. I went, she looks good. You know, and I was like, ugh. And she's like, oh, you look ridiculous. And it was so funny. Like the next morning I went for a pee. I looked in the bathroom mirror and I thought, oh, no. In fact, if you look carefully, I've still got the remnants on the cover of my 70s porn star look. But I've done the ends of my moustache up. If you imagine that dangling down there, you know. So no, some things are best covered up now. It's like nudity. We're never going to go naked on the telly again, are we, Kingy? Nah. After that sauna in Finland, and we saw the back view, no. So faces covered, everything.
We're still getting bills from the viewers for therapy for that.
Yeah, no more sumo wrestling.
No,
nada. No, not unless I've got a vest on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, listen, thank you for joining us
Kim.
on this lovely Fane event.
It's been great, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
It's nice.
It's been nice. And well done for the lads for making it work.
Yeah.
Because there's young magician, magic-y things happening.
It's great, isn't it? We must do this again.
Yeah, no, should we?
Yeah, I just sincerely hope that everybody who's watching this are going to have a nice feed, because food, as we say, it transcends everything. Race, religion, politics, and probably even COVID violence, the COVID virus. Because if you've got a nice feed, you know, the world's not so bad, is it really?
And look after yourselves.
Yeah, please do.
Thank you for your continued support and your kindness and your lovely words. We appreciate it enormously.
Yeah, we don't take it for granted.
God bless you
Thank
all.
you.
See you soon.